Okay guys, today we're going to do a bouquet / vase design. The way I teach it, the bouquet that we make can also go into a vase. For your mechanics today, if you're making the vase design, you need a vase, bunch cutters, and water. You put the water in the vase. You always work directly into water when you are making any type of vase design. So make sure to have that ready for when you're ready to design. Some of your mechanics are going to be either wire or binding tape, and we'll go into that as we make the design. Bunch cutters again. And to finish it off, you're going to need ribbon and pearl-headed pins and ribbon shears. These are the botanicals you're going to use for your bouquet. The stars of our bouquet are going to be these beautiful orange roses, and we have 5 of those. We have 3 chrysanthemums, and yes, these big chrysanthemums are related to the chrysanthemums that you've been working with in class, even the little button mums. So you need 3 of these. We'll be working with 3 stems of hypericum berry. Hypericum is actually a shrub, and these are just the berries left over after the flower petals fall off. So we don't use the flowers of the hypericum berry, we use just the berries. And you need 3 of those. You will use 3 spray roses. Spray roses are just little tiny roses that grow in what we call a spray. So you see how there's multiple on a stem here, and that is called spray. So the bigger roses grow on a single stem, and these spray roses grow multiple to one stem. We're also going to use 3 maroon carns. Maybe you see what we're doing here. We're doing a little bit of a hokey themed bouquet. Your greenery for this bouquet is going to be what we call silver dollar eucalyptus, and you can see it's a eucalyptus with this real nice pretty little round leaf. If you don't like the eucalyptus, you can also finish off your bouquet with the leather leaf that you're used to, or this, which is called lily grass, and at the very end we'll show you a bouquet that's finished off with these. All right, let's get going. In preparing our mechanics, the most important thing to do is to make sure your stems are completely clean and free of all these little leaves, that your roses, we've taken off some of the petals that are dying, brown, ripped, and you just pull them off. It won't do anything bad to the rose. Clean all 5 roses. Make sure there's no leaf, and take off, these are called guard petals because they guard the rose. And you can take off the guard petals because it's going to be fine on its own now. So I've cleaned my 5 standard roses. I'm going to clean my carnations now. You just clean off any leaf that you see. You get that out of the way. They can really mess up a bouquet if there's a lot of debris on the flowers. Notice that this carnation is a little bit closed. We're just going to slightly, gently pat on it, and that opens it up a little more. All right, and then we're going to clean off those leaves. So the carnations are ready, the roses are ready. Now we'll go to the spray rose. And this one is a little more tricky. In the floral business, we would snip these off, these little laterals, and we would save them for the boutonnieres and the corsages. I'm going to trim these now. I'm going to leave those 4 are pretty close together, so I'm going to just trim off the 2. Then on this one, I'm going to trim off all these leaves, and I'm going to trim off that side one. You can't even have those side ones on there. Trim off these leaves. And these are all about the same height, so I'm also going to leave them there. On this one, I'm going to trim off these leaves, trim this one. And as I mentioned, in the floral business, all of these would be used for corsages and boutonnieres. This one I only left 3 on because none of the other ones were in that similar height. I'm going to clean the hypericum berry next. So just like the roses, you can't have these 2 that are down low in the stem, so I'm going to trim those off. I'm going to trim these leaves. Some of the larger leaves I'm going to trim, but you do not trim off these little tiny leaves around the berry. So you leave those little tiny leaves. This one, I'm going to trim off these 2 sides. There's one that the berry does not look good, so I'm going to trim it off. I'm going to leave all the little tiny leaves on. Those are fine. And my last one, I am going to trim again the side, leave those top one on. My hypericum is ready. Now, I'm going to look at my mums. The TAs did a great job of cleaning these off for me, so I don't have much work to do here, so I'm just going to rip off some of these really scraggly petals like this. We need to just pull those off. You don't want those in your pretty bouquet. And same over here. I'm going to look at these and just pull off any petals that don't look good. All right. Those are clean and ready to go. The last thing we'll clean up is all this eucalyptus. I want about 5 nice sized stems of eucalyptus, and this right here is perfect. So I'm going to trim that off, and I have that nice length in there. And see here how I have 2? Well, I think both of these, I think I'm pretty lucky that both of them are a good length. If they weren't, I could cut off this one and then see how that left this long stem for the other one. And then I would probably trim one of those off also and have the one eucalyptus ready to work with. So there's 2. Again, these would be used, they would be saved for other elements in a wedding. You wouldn't waste any flowers. Trimmed a couple off. This one, see all these laterals? We need those off. You don't want anything messy. Just leave this nice tip. 4, and for my 5th one, oh, I don't know. This one I actually might trim this middle one out and just keep that nice short piece. All right, there's 5, and I'll save these just in case I need another one. Sometimes you need something just to fill it out at the end. So I'll save 1. All my botanicals are ready now. So step 1 was cleaning your botanicals. That's all done. So now we're going to put our botanicals in front of us here. They're all cleaned up, ready to use. Notice that I'm putting them in a nice line so that I'm not searching for them or pulling them out of a pile. But everything is now ready for me to work with. Step 2 is building your design. We're going to build this design in a spiral form. So I'm going to take my first botanical. I chose a rose. You can choose any one you want other than the eucalyptus. I wouldn't start with the eucalyptus, but if you wanted to start with the carnation, that's fine. So I'm starting with my rose, and I'm going to hold it in my left hand. You can hold it in either hand, and you hold it gently. No death grips on the flowers. Just gently hold them. Getting started is the hardest part, but have patience, because once you've done a couple rounds, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute, it's easy. Get your flower, hold it gently, grab another flower. Here's the trick. This flower you're going to put to the right of the rose. So the stem is to the left, the flower's to the right. And then you're going to just slightly rotate it or spin and grab your next flower. Same thing, flower to the right, stem to the left. This method is creating a spiral. You're going to come in here next, pick another botanical, flower to the right, stem to the left, slightly spin. I'm going to grab another one, flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. This is not easy to do. If at this point you hate it, you can put it down and start again. I'm okay with it because I know that I'm going to be able to adjust it here in a second. So I'm going to do another one, flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. It's important that you keep spinning. Flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. Because that spinning action, flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. That spinning action is helping you maintain your spiral in your stems. See how my stems are, it broke. That's why we don't have any death grips on it. I'm going to add that one back, and I'll get one out of the bucket here. Thank goodness it's all cleaned up. All right, flowers to the right, stem to the left, spin. What I'm looking for when I'm adding my flowers to the right, stem to the left, spin, I'm looking for triangles. I don't want any straight lines. I want good flower disbursement, and triangles does that. Flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. Flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. Flower to the right, stem to the left, spin. Notice how my stems are all in this nice spiral form, very nice and neat and clean. As you're working, your flowers will start to fall. See, we can't see that mum anymore. This rose is falling. You just gently hold the bouquet, look down, and with your other hand, gently pull all the flowers back into view. And that is my bouquet. Once I have fiddled with it and got all the flowers where I think they should be height-wise, and this is a nice uniform, a good spiral on my stems, I'm ready to bind it. This is a good example of why you should prepare all your mechanics before you start designing, because now I have this beautiful bouquet I don't want to put down, but I have a ball of wire and a ball of tape that I need to use stuff off of. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to ask Molly to help me, but make sure you cut your tape or your wire first. All right, I lied. I'm going to give it a try. The wire is probably what I would have chosen because that one I can pull it and cut it with one hand. The tape, you end up having to use your teeth, and my uncle was a dentist and he would yell at me right now. And then I would use the table So this is why you do everything first. Because I would, oh, looks, won't tear, won't cut. Okay, this is an example. Prepare your mechanics first. Okay. All right. In lab, we'll have the tape ready for you guys. You won't have to, we'll have it on your station and you won't have to worry about cutting it. So at this moment, I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to tape it. In this moment, I'm going to take my tape and tape it. You tape right where all the flowers meet in their spiral. The first time around, I'm going to make it very loose, and that's because I want to make sure that none of my flowers got messed up while I was taping it. Then my second time around, it is tight. And there's my design. And it's taped. I did not use the eucalyptus as I was designing because in my personal opinion, it can get kind of messy if you have eucalyptus inside of it. And you have to really know what you're doing. So I'm using the eucalyptus around the outside. So the same thing, stem to the flower or greenery to the right, stem to the left, and I am going to rotate through with those 5 pieces of eucalyptus that I picked out. And I'm going to do what we call collaring, because I'm only making a collar of eucalyptus. And I did not put any eucalyptus inside the design. You can try it while you're making your bouquet. You can put eucalyptus on the inside and see if you would like it. I like it with the collar. So now I'm going to tape it again. I tape it right over the old tape. At this point, you check out your design. If you like it, yay, good for you. If you hate it, you can always cut that tape, start all over again. It's totally okay. I've done it many times. I'm making the bouquet. This is how I would tell the person to hold it. Maybe you're not a fan of the eucalyptus. You can also finish this off with leather leaf or lily grass. I'm going to show you the leather leaf first. Once again, I did not clean my materials. This is a do as I say, not as I do video. So I'm having to clean my materials with my bouquet in my hand, which is just going to mess it up. So be careful. I'm going to clean off 5 leather leaf, which should have been cleaned before. Barbara. All right. I have my 5 leather leaf, and while I was doing that, my flowers got a little messed up. That's okay. So now I'm ready to collar with the leather leaf. Maybe you like this look better. You would finish it off the same way, wrap it in tape, wrap it in your ribbon, and it would be done. Maybe eucalyptus and leather leaf, neither one of them were your cup of tea. You can go with a little more modern look by using lily grass. If you decide to use the lily grass, you're going to want to bind it. I took 3 pieces of it. I'm just doing this to make it straight again, or not all wonky. Down here at the bottom, I'm taking a little piece of wire and I'm wiring it, and I'm cutting the wire You can use your bunch cutters. And now that lily grass is all bound together. I'm also going to bind these two pieces together. Again, straightening it out a little bit. Binding my lily grass. And cutting. It's now ready to go in my bouquet. If you want to use the lily grass, one of the ways that I use it is I place it into the stems and you loop it over the design back into the stem. Put your second piece opposite of this loop, and you can loop it over that loop if you want to make a little crisscross. You can loop it to the side. I liked how it looked over, so I'm going to loop it over that one. Fix my design up. And now I would wrap my tape around it, and I have this little armature design. If you decided to go with the bridal bouquet and you trimmed it, you should be able to stand it up like this. This is an A. If we were continuing on with the wedding bouquet, we would be adding the ribbon right now. We're going to show you how to add the ribbon in a separate video. I'm now going to teach you that if you decided you wanted to do a vase bouquet instead of a wedding bouquet, I'm going to show you how to put this in there. First thing is you wouldn't have gone as far as all this tape. So you would actually stop when you were done with the spiral, and you would not have all that tape. So pretend that I just got done putting all my flowers to the right, stems to the left. I have this beautiful spiral, and I'm ready to put it in this vase. Okay, so I need to measure this so that it fits in the vase. The taller your stems, if you tried to put these stems in this vase, first of all, it's not going to happen. Second of all, when you let go, all those flowers are going to fall out like that. So you need this to be pretty short to sit in this vase nicely. But remember, you can always trim more, but you can't glue stems back on. So measure pretty well. And what I do is I take this and I want the rim of my vase to be where that spiral is. So I look where my spiral is, I look at the rim of my vase, then I look to the base of my vase, and I think, all right, I want to cut it at least right here to the base of the vase. So I'm going to cut all that stem off. I'm going to use my bunch cutters. We can't use the knife because it's hard, and it's okay. Just with your bunch cutters, come in and start cutting your stems. Cut them all at the same length. And I'm cutting them the best I can on an angle. Okay, I'm going to remeasure this, see if I got pretty close. Okay, I think I'm a little tall. So when I go to put this in the vase, see how much taller that is than from the spiral? And if I let this go, see how there's just too much of an open space. So I'm going to put it all back together. I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to give it another little trim. If I did that correctly, I should be able to put it in this time. Open it up, tuck everything in, maybe even recut some of these shorter if I want, because it was not making me happy. There we go. And look at my design and call it done. If you're unhappy with some of the flowers in their height, like I'm very unhappy with this one mum, I'm just gonna take it out and give it a little trim. So you saw things fell out when I did that. Okay, happier now. I'll put this back in that fell out, give it another little cut. Put that in. All right. I am very happy with my design. I have my color dispersion, I have different botanicals. Everything is pretty uniform. If it's not, taking it out, giving it a cut, putting it back in, working it back into that spiral. All right. And that is your vase bouquet. So step 1 was cleaning all your stuff. Step 2 was building it. Step 3, putting it in the vase if you were doing a vase design. Or step 3 is adding the ribbon if you're doing a wedding bouquet. So whether you decide to do it in a vase or a wedding bouquet, you do that spiral, flower to the right, stem to the left. You work with triangles, color disbursement, and you will have a beautiful bouquet. Voila. So make sure to have that ready for when you're ready to So make sure to have that ready for when you're ready to So make sure to have that ready for when you're ready to design. So make sure. There's no step 4, right?
I guess not.
Yeah.
No, that's it. If it's
Yep.
wrapped in the ribbon, you're done.
Yep. So that is it. Enjoy. Have fun. Make a bouquet.